Welcome, traders, to episode 00 of Enduring Resolve, the podcast where we talk about achieving financial independence through trading. So in this episode, very first, what we're going to talk about is three things. We're going to talk about what this podcast is about, how this podcast is published, and finally, who I am. So the mission of this podcast is to inspire, motivate, and inform both new and aspiring traders to help you all build a profitable trading practice so you can live the life that you want and achieve financial independence all through trading. So it's important to say what this podcast is not about. So this podcast is not about giving financial advice, trading advice, or any recommendations. Now, that may sound unfair, but truthfully, that's the best course of action because all that I mentioned there, those are individual needs and specific to each one of you. So listening to a podcast or reading some unnamed magazines isn't the proper way to go about that. You'll need to refer to a professional. But the good news is that we will cover a lot of that content as we go through this podcast. So you will become a smarter trader along the way, but you just won't be getting any direct advice from us. So what does that leave? So the focus then is more, this is a personal journal. We give you helpful advice and guide you so you can discover how you can become a better trader, all by mimicking and learning from me, the life of an independent futures and options trader. So who is this podcast for? So this is, like I mentioned, new and aspiring traders. That's for people who manage their own money with or without a financial advisor. So if you're handling your money in any which way, going into the markets, then this is the podcast for you. The type of questions that we're going to answer are going to be, how do we get started trading? What is it that they don't tell you about when you start trading? What are the gotchas of trading? What are all those little details that nobody ever tells you about? A lot of the instructors out there, they've been in this game for decades. So a lot of them can't empathize with the struggles that today's new trader are going through. So the benefit of this podcast is we start talking about and you start learning about those things by way of sharing of my experience as I grow and become a master trader myself. So the purpose of why I started this podcast was twofold. The first was to share what I was learning and share what I am learning. For most of 2019, I ran a meetup group with all just traders, helping them get along, get their feet off the ground. And this is an expansion of that. So it's all, sharing the experience, sharing how to become a better trader and what I'm learning along the way. And that's the second point, which is just sharing my perspectives and reflections with all of you. So what is the history of Enduring Resolve? So if you do a Google search, you'll find that, we had a YouTube channel, which we still do, which started as my project when I was running a veteran real estate investment group. So you'll find some old videos on our YouTube channel for that. From there, it morphed into a blog that I updated sporadically. And all of that was based off of just the name. Well, that's what I've always been trying to achieve is Enduring Resolve. So what is the message and the purpose of that? So in order to achieve success in business and life, whatever you define success to be, requires two things. The one that everybody knows about is persistence. You don't have to go too very far. Stick with it. You'll hear it all the times. But there's a second, much more elusive one that escapes most everyone, and that is consistency. And it was elusive, and it got me for most of my life as well. A pretty successful guy, but not in business until I understood that second element, which was you need both persistence and consistence. So when you have those two things, then you have Enduring Resolve. So that's where our name comes from. So the format of this podcast is the episodes will be published weekly on Monday. They'll be approximately 30 minutes in length, give or take a couple of minutes. Distribution, you'll find that we'll publish on YouTube. We'll also publish on iTunes, Google, Spotify, and other popular podcast hosting services. So be sure to check on your favorite podcast player and subscribe to our channel there. Now, if you want to keep abreast of everything that's going on, the best place to do that is to go to our website. That's www.enduringresolve.com. So there you'll find both the podcast the YouTube content, and any other information that goes to feed this community. So the best way to keep in touch and not miss anything is go to our website. Again, that's www.enduringresolve.com. And you just subscribe. You'll get updated whenever we put out any new content. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, very same name. And you can also head over to Twitter at enduringresolve.com. That's the handle, at enduringresolve. And you'll be able to follow me there. So there you go. You've got the website, the YouTube channel, your favorite podcast player, and Twitter. That's where you can best keep updated and everything that's going to be published here. Now, the third part of this episode. Who am I? All right. So, again, my name is Luis. Start at the beginning. I was born in a third world country, Dominican Republic. Very proud of that. Raised in the Bronx, New York. And ever since I was 8 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a United States Marine. My wife says that this is my sales pitch. I say it's my life. I knew I wanted to be a Marine when I was 8. I knew I wanted to be a business owner when I was 12. And my entire life has kind of revolved around that. So I enlisted in the Marine Corps, never went to boot camp, wound up going to the United States Naval Academy, graduating from there, becoming a commissioned officer in the Marine Corps. Flew for the Marine Corps, so I've got served both in Afghanistan and Iraq twice. Second time I walked it with an infantry battalion. Then from there, I spent most of my 20s in and out of war, just serving my country. It's very, very proud of everything we've achieved through there. Then in 2010, I transitioned my commission over from the active duty over into the reserves, which is still where I am today. So since 2010, I've been a reservist doing various different reserve duties. That's what you all know is the whole 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year. And in the outside world, when I'm not in uniform, I'm a IT project manager by trade. Specifically, I'm a data professional. I do a lot of machine learning, data management, and that will eventually factor into my trading, as you'll all see, which is to build an algorithmic trade desk. That's my big goal as business goes for my trading career. Now, how did I get into trading? In 2016, I went to a training camp for trading, fell in love with it, knew that's what I wanted to do. Now, my undergrad is actually in economics. I have a huge affinity to the maths and sciences. I'm actually matriculated at Johns Hopkins right now for a master's in applied and computational mathematics. I like analyzing things, and that's what trading provided for me. So I began trading in 2016, and then I went live in the fall of 2018. Due to some life circumstances, I wound up going full-time into trading in 2019, just to take care of some family matters. And it became my primary source of income, though not my sole source of income. But then I returned to the workforce at the end of 2019. So as you hear this podcast right now, I'm actually employed. And that one of the topics we'll talk about here is how to trade while having a job. So I know that's a big challenge. I did it before. I'm doing it again now. The big goal for me again is financial independence. So I am currently 41 years old, and my goal is to be financially independent by the age of 45. So that gives me 4 years to pull this off, and it will be done. So join in, follow along, learn from my experiences, participate with us. When we post things on YouTube, when we post things on Twitter, be sure to follow us on both those mediums. Share your experiences, comment, shoot me an email via Twitter. And I look forward to having you join part of this community of Enduring Resolve of traders. And I hope that you follow along with me and you're inspired to achieve financial independence as well through trading. I mean, there's no better way to do this, at least not for me. It is a business with no employees. All you need is some capital, a lot of skill, but just a lot of stick-to-itiveness. You can do it from anywhere. It's just the best. It's the best business model for me. And I hope it is for you as well. If you've loved everything you've heard, then please go ahead and subscribe at www.enduringresolve.com on your favorite podcast player. Follow us on Twitter at Enduring Resolve. and subscribe at our YouTube channel by the same name, Enduring Resolve. And I so look forward to having you be part of the community. Talk to you soon.